funny enough, TSM has two teams that they have a 1-4 record against. All the other records they have.
Is one of them EG?
No, that would be 2 and 3. That would be 2 and 3. Two teams that are 1-4. LS, give me one of the teams that TSM is 1-4 against.
1-4.
Wait, I thought of one. I thought of one. Is it Fly?
Wait,
one of them is FlyQuest. That's correct.
Okay. I was gonna say FlyQuest.
Okay.
Right. One other team.
No. Wait. Is it? Wait, is it CLG? Is it really?
No. CLG doesn't even have 4 wins this entire season, I don't think.
I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on.
CLG has losing records against everybody except one team, which is why I thought they were going to make playoffs. It was their winning record was against Golden
impressive
Guardians.
In itself. That's actually impressive in itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Parth was crying on Twitter. He wasn't actually crying, but he was commenting on Twitter about how, you know, like he didn't get the perfect seed, but or like he didn't get the reseeding in the second round. But I mean, what happens if he had to play against Dig? Like, that's one of his team's kryptonites right there. So. Yeah,
there it is. Yeah, let's pull up that tweet too, because that to me felt a little frustrating. Like, they got first seed, and then there was no dynamic seeding, and there was it just felt like kind of like a witch hunty type thing. Here, Joe, it's right here. So Parth states, today we locked in first place regular season for the first time in 4 years. It's more impressive since it's over 45 games over the year. I think that statement's true. Both those things are impressive. Great job, TSM. Our reward for it, since it's a locked bracket, no choice in semis opponent, and no dynamic reseeding. What this means is if Dig manages to upset the 3rd seed, 100 Thieves will get to play Dig for the world spot. That's an interesting take. Also very interesting, 100 Thieves who play to EG tomorrow has a lot of power over their opponent, who their opponent is in playoffs. As a GM, I wonder what I would do for my game tomorrow if my seed is locked and I think EG is a weaker team than Cloud9. You know what I do? I'd fucking throw the game and then take the weaker seed. Yeah, because you have 45 games to fucking prove it.
I just think it's funny, right? Because like when this benefited his team, you didn't see him talking about this. Like I remember in season 5, we were literally in the same exact situation, right? Like we placed first in regular season with TL, and we had a disadvantage by placing first because TSM placed 5th, and TSM was much weaker than Tip. But it's like we didn't see him coming out with this take back then. Like, it just seems like one of these things where people only care when it's relevant to them, and they don't give a fuck if it's not relevant. Like, they don't actually have a problem with the format. They only have a problem with the format if it's against what they do. Like, I don't remember any tweets or anyone saying anything about, oh, well, TL is first seed and TSM's 5th seed. Like, isn't it unfair that they have to play TL or TSM and not Tip? No one said shit. So, like, I always take these things with a grain of salt because I mean, it's not like he said this at the beginning of the split or when the format was announced in spring. He only says it once first is locked, and based on the bracket, there's a chance that it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I didn't like that take a lot. I am happy for TSM. They have put together a hell of a season, even with a lot of close, kind of goofy wins, as LS said. But also, as LS said, it doesn't take away from the fact that they got first over one of the longest, most interesting formats that we've seen here in the LCS. So, and after Bjergsen has retired, like as a player specifically, he can't drag the team to victory. So we've seen an emergence of Spica step on up. We've seen Sword Art have some huge plays and be worth maybe like 2/3 of his $5 million. And Hooney's had performance.
Damn, you think he's been playing like you think either Perks or Sword Art has been playing close to what their salary is? When you look at other players in the league, you look at like how like even like Jizuke has been playing, how Impact's been playing. Like these guys are not significant. They're not even better than those players.
I think the only player. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say, I think the only player on a high-end salary that I think is living up to their expectation is probably Alfari.
Yep.
It's
I agree.
Alfari. Yep.
Wait, isn't
That's it.
Fudge getting paid a ton? Fudge is living up to his salary.
Yeah. Fudge is exceeding his worth in his salary.
No one in Cloud9 gets paid except
Fudge
Perks.
is actually
No, other
probably
people get paid.
it's kind of weird. I'm pretty sure Fudge is probably the most bang for your buck player in the entire league.
Oh,
Maybe
absolutely.
even actually maybe any league.
Maybe Danny.
Danny is probably
yeah.
pretty
I'm
good
actually.
there.
I guess I don't know what Danny. Yeah,
wonder-
Danny was a promotion, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Pretty
he's
much
probably
all
even
these,
less.
all these players
Yeah.
are getting like close to the minimum. All these new rookie players that come in, you pretty much make like 100K in your first, like you get pretty much paid league minimum.
Right.
When you enter, and then yeah, it's up to how long you sign for. I mean, this is like why when you're a rookie you don't want to sign these like 3-4 year contracts, because that's how you get fucked.
Right. It's a death sentence.
I'm trying to find the rule set. I know that in 2018,
Although
the minimum salary for LCS was below 100,000, and it shifted based off of what
Chad is giving me a
league
brain
you were playing
aneurysm.
in
Yes,
that
it is only 100K when you compare it to $3 million a season that Sword Art's getting. When you're getting paid a 30th of somebody who you're performing better than, that's what makes it only 100K, because you're only getting paid a 30th of what other players are playing to get worse results.
right.
Jesus fucking Christ, how is it hard?
The one thing I do know exists. I know it exists within some teams' contracts though. And this makes like the 3-4 year contracts not as bad, but some teams do have an annual renegotiation on salary where if you can't agree, you simply become a streamer and you don't have to play.
in LCK.
You become a streamer at your pre-existing rate and you don't have to play. I know of at least 3 teams, or I know of at least 3 players that have had a contract like this in every different region. So I know that it exists.
That's interesting. I did not know that. I'm
Yeah.
scrolling through right now to see like if there's minimum salary requirement. Okay, contract requirement. No, it doesn't say. All right, well, whatever. I highly doubt anyone's minimum salary. My point that I was going to make is for players, for the 2/3 comment I said about Perks and or for no, not 2/3 for Perks, 2/3 for Sword Art, is that I think those big contracts are just end goal contracts. You make it to Worlds, it's worth it. Honestly, I think that's what it is. You make it to Worlds, it's worth it. I don't even think they need to get out of group stage. Like if you make it to Worlds, that contract is worth it. If you don't, like, and it's those 3, right? It's TSM, Cloud9, and Team Liquid that have those very inflated, or not inflated, but like home run salary buys. We don't know how much Abadage cost 100 Thieves, but it's not as much as Perks, as Sword Art, as Alfari. Maybe that whole roster because they like lifted it from Golden Guardians and that whole thing. But like, I think when you look at those 3 players, those salaries become worth it if you make it to Worlds. Then you can at least.
I don't even think it's if you make it to Worlds. I think that the reason why these teams are paying this much is they think that like adding a Sword Art or adding a Perks or adding these players that are like, Sword Art was extremely successful at Worlds last year. Perks has been successful at Worlds for years. So I think these teams go into it like, if we add one of these players, the goal is to actually do well at Worlds. Like we can get out of group stage. We can make it potentially to like semifinals or something. Like they want to like hit that peak, and it doesn't even look close to achievable with the salaries that we see.
Yeah.
One of the aspects that I don't think literally anyone considers, but I think it's a pretty big reality, is even if you pay a lot. So let's say that let's say Cloud9 gets Perks, right? Or something like that. Or I mean I can use T1 and Faker, right?
Sure.
You can bet your bottom dollar T1 gets sponsorship acquisitions that they would not be able to get without Faker. Because when part of their pitch is like, we have Faker, right? We have one of the biggest celebrities in South Korea, or even in gaming, right? A gaming god. So even though they pay Faker a lot, they make money back on Faker, right? Like that. I mean, this is just a thing. So like Cloud9, they paid extra Perks. What does having Perks then allow them to get, right? And somewhere in between lies the truth. I think that there's probably scenarios where It doesn't matter that they paid Perks a lot or, certain players around the world. It doesn't matter that they pay a lot. They'll make money back by having the player.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Reckless. Reckless on G2. I would
Of course.
bet money G2 has made money on Reckless.
Ralph Lauren, baby.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They made money on Reckless. And I think so many fucking GMs and teams either don't understand this or the public just doesn't get it either when they see these exorbitant salaries.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that the problem is, it's like, what are you getting out of your, like, so one of the players I think is a huge amount of brand value would be like somebody like Jose Dioto, right? Like somebody who has huge fan base, like it gives you a link to a whole demographic that you wouldn't have had before, gets a lot of stream viewers, like every time they put them in content, the content performs well. Like those are the types of players that do that. But I feel like, and I feel like Perks could be in that category too, because he does have one of the bigger brands in the West, like some of the most Twitter followers that we see. His streams are popular, all that stuff. Like he has that value. I think Sword Art is essentially just there to win though. Like when you look at Sword Art, he gets paid more than Perks. And where do we see this guy? I don't even know. Like, does this guy even tweet? Does he stream? Like, it's literally just about his performance in game.